Hello people, welcome back to Darts Talk, and for the first time in over 4 years, the PDC and the BDO went head to head on primetime television, as the PDC had their block on Sky Sports, but ESPN and BDO are back into bed together after last year's successful World Masters, and it was very interesting to see these two go head to head, especially tonight, because tonight the viewership was probably dominated by the international friendlies, because you would have most of the fans of darts would be football supporters as well. But let's look at what happened in the City West in Dublin first. It was Justin Pike taking on Brendan Dolan, and like a lot of people thought, I said to myself earlier on Darts Talk, I thought the home field advantage would play a big part for Brendan Dolan, and it did. It played a very big part. See, Justin Pike being such a slow player, the crowd would get to him a bit more than it would for players that throw very fast, because when you're throwing fast, you don't really notice the crowd that much. But when Justin Pike was going for crucial doubles at crucial times, he really wouldn't notice that crowd. Another great win for Brendan Dolan. He's into his second semi-final in a row in City West, so who knows, maybe he can go one step further this year, because it's wide open, people. The second quarterfinal was Wesley Newton defeating Paul Nicholson 3-2, and what I had to say was an absolute disgusting scene by Wesley Newton, as nearly 4 times when he took out big shots. In fairness, he took out some big shots to stay in this game. He completely roared into the face of Paul Nicholson. See, this is what I don't like about the PDC at times. There's double standards. When Paul Nicholson said something bad about Phil Taylor last year, there was a big hullabaloo about it. But here it's just seen now as sportsmanship. I don't find that sportsmanship when someone turns around and just screams right in your face. By all means, scream into the crowd and get into it and get excited. That's what art is all about. It's all about passion. But don't scream right into my bloody face. And I really commend Paul Nicholson. And I'm not the biggest Paul Nicholson fan, but I really commend him for how much he kept his cool and kept his dignity at the end of that match by shaking Wesley Newton's hands, because I don't think I would have the stomach to do that, because I think Newton, he's just such a sore loser. I said this in the last show and I'm going to say it again. I think he is such a sore loser, and anytime a game is going against him, he brings out these childish acts of stomping around the stage, giving out, throwing his darts up in the air, flicking off, it's just complete childish BS. And my own motto is, and I think Wes Newton's going to find this out as he goes on and he starts career, you have to learn how to lose to learn how to win. Michael Van Gerwen, Andrew Hamilton. Yet again, this was going to be the match, the night of the party, but like last night with Adrian Lewis and Michael Van Gerwen, it kind of fell flat for me. Now, that 160 for Andy Hamilton to stay in the match was superb, do not get me wrong. But the whole game overall I thought was a bit flat. I thought 2 of them never got going. I don't know what it is. It's just, this is the maturity of Michael Van Gerwen this week, I think. Is that Van Gerwen was always scattery. Okay, he missed some doubles right today, but, that was probably the most solid I saw Van Gerwen at times I ever seen him. He was steady on the 20s. He was steady on the 19s. I think we're seeing a different evolution of Michael Van Gerwen this week, and I'm actually enjoying it. The steady, calm side of Michael Van Gerwen. Like, we all know the excitable, rat-a-tat-tat side of Michael Van Gerwen. We all know that pretty well. So it's very good to see this different side of Michael Van Gerwen this weekend. I'd probably tip him to win the tournament at the moment. The main event, of course, was Mervyn King defeating Robert Thornton 3-0, and like so many people before, Robert Thornton falls for the Phil Taylor curse. Beat Phil Taylor, you go out the next round. 3-0, nobody really saw this coming, and if I have to be honest, if Robert Thornton won that first set, I think we'd be talking about a completely different game. But for King to come back and win that, I think that completely threw Thornton off his game plan, because he was showing some superb darts in that set. Tomorrow's semi-final lineup looks like this. You have Michael Van Gerwen opening up proceedings against Wesley Newton, and the second game on is going to be Mervyn King versus Brendan Dolan. If I had to pick very quick, I will go Michael Van Gerwen and Mervyn King. The reason I'm picking Mervyn King over Dolan is that King is used to hostile atmospheres. He's used to the crowd getting on his back. So that will really play a big part of tomorrow night. And King is up for this. This has probably been the best I've seen King thrown in a long time. The 3 games he's after thrown so far, he's looked absolutely tremendous. So I really think you're looking at a Van Gerwen King final. Who do I think is going to win? Well, I will give that tomorrow. I will look ahead to the final tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow to review the semi-finals. Now, on to the Hull City Hall. I'm sorry, it's just the World Masters to me was always held in Burlington, and now it's in Hull. Oh. I'm not going to run down everything because, as I said before, some of these names I just don't understand. But the big talking point is that Martin Adams was defeated 3-1 by Red Hit David. Very shocked defeat for Martin Adams. I was shocked to see this. I'm not going to lie, I didn't see this game, but very shocked. But the game I did see was Scotland O'Hara getting beat 3-0 by Paul Brown. See, this is the thing I've been saying about the BDO. It's that these guys can come out of nowhere. Like, Paul Brown threw good darts. It's not like you saw his bat Scott Waits up there. It's just that Paul Brown threw good darts. And that is one thing I will say the BDO has over the PDC. The PDC, alright, has better quality. But the great thing about the BDO is that you sit down and you watch a dart match. You really don't know who's going to win that dart match. You really don't. Tony O'Shea got through. Another big talking point, of course, was the debut of Bobby George's son onto the circuit. I wasn't impressed. I was not impressed one bit. I think he came up with the complete wrong attitude. It was his first time in front of the television cameras. His name was Richie Richie George. That's just such a weird name, Richie George. It was his first time in front of the cameras, and I didn't think he had to act, sorry for my language, I do not think he had to act a cocky prick. He should have just went up, the short pulling when you pull the top of the, leave that alone. When you're there a couple of tournaments and you're established, then start doing all that. But this was your first time in front of the TV camera. Go up in a normal shirt, throw darts, and show what you can do. Because all you made yourself look like was like a tool. You made yourself look like a tool tonight, Richie. Simple as. Not impressed one bit, and I don't think much people looking at Richie after all the hype for the last 2 years we've been hearing about that Richie is this and Richie is that. I think nobody was impressed. Really shocked result as well as Phil Nixon defeated Robert Green 3-1. Very shocked here as Kong. Like, Phil Nixon, he's a dodgy old player. Like, you do not get to the final of a World Championship. Sorry, you do not get to a last set decider in any World Championship if you're not a good player. So it was very interesting. John Walter went out as well. And what that sets up tomorrow, I cannot give you the order of play for tomorrow because it hasn't been announced yet. But Stephen Button will take on Van de Pass. Jim Williams will take on Ross Montgomery. Finn Nixon will take on Sam Head. David Price will take on Wesley Hams. World Hit David, the guy who beat... who did he beat again? Martin Adams will take on Thomas Jaffelsa. Gary Robson will take on Tony O'Shea, which is probably the match of the round. Paul Brown will take on Shane Douglas. That's very good for Steve Douglas and Paul Brown because let's call it a spade. I said these two guys didn't think they were going to get this far. So here's a great opportunity for one of them to get to the quarterfinal in the World Masters. And Scott Marshall will take on James Wilson. So that's very interesting. I said the order of play is not available. I haven't seen much of this. While I've seen Tony O'Shea's throwing well, but the thing about Tony O'Shea, he always throws well around the early things. It's around the end that Tony O'Shea really gets found out. Stephen Butler, while I've seen of him, he was throwing okay. He came through a very hard game. Coming near the back end of the legs, that's where he's really leaving himself down. So this is wide open, and I will be watching tomorrow on ESPN. I believe it starts at 12 o'clock in the morning. So you might want to get up early. There's no rest for the wicked, thinking you could get a line because there's no football this week. Well, we have darts as the BDO. I think it's 12 o'clock on ESPN or it's 1 o'clock on ESPN. It's one or the other. Check your television schedules. Enjoy, and I'll be back tomorrow night to look at